proper sport radio show before we started recording this show. They had Phil Kaplan in particular had some really interesting points to make about this moving the game forward, potentially giving us links to other elite sports, potentially giving us links to major investment opportunities. It puts us right in a sporting cultural hub rather than totally on the periphery of all those sorts of things. So what do you think, Alan?
Again, it's a good deal. I think it makes sense as a place, as you say. You're surrounded by obviously not only football, but in that area you've got the Manchester Velodrome as well, the athletics stadium that used to be as was the warm-up track for the Commonwealth Games. That's obviously been converted into that hosts kind of top-level athletics periodically.
It
You've got
also
obviously
it also hosts the Manchester Rangers rugby league side.
exactly.
Yeah,
So you've got. I mean, it's a as a location, it's logical in terms of its links to, without getting into the M62 Heartland kind of thing. It's close to a huge number of clubs. It's close to players. They have excellent facilities there. It's shaping up to be a world class centre.
yeah.
And it's a really forward-thinking move. Again, I mean, I've had several trips to Red Hall, not for disciplinary reasons, but in a previous life. And it's a beautiful building, but quite frankly, it's not the home
Well,
of a
it's probably
modern
going to be
sport.
converted into 3 or 4 luxury flats now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's I mean that in that entire area, they're redeveloping kind of. There's kind of a new road going in nearby,
Right.
and that kind of whole area has been redeveloped because there's housing allocation plans in that area and all kinds of stuff going on in that kind of neck of the woods in Leeds.
I suppose the most
Um,
serious issue then is Liam Watts' travel time is really going to increase, isn't it? Because now he has to go over the Pennines.
he,
So,
he
so
might
he'll
he
be
might have to
he'll be
think.
the most seriously hit by this move, won't he? Whereas Kevin Sinfield, they've moved it right into a sort of down the road from Oldham now, aren't they? Just down the M66.
Well, there you go. So as long as the Kev's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Liam, if he wants to stop in here, and have a brew on his way over, just let us know and we'll make it happen.
No, I think
There you
it's
go.
like you say. I think there's a lot of positives um, about putting yourself around other sports and around it gets you more, maybe a bit more visible as well. Being in that area where there's going to be a lot of other sporting activity, you're going to get a lot of broadcasting people, sponsorship people, that sort of stuff in and around there because of what else goes on there that you might be able to, I don't know, bump into someone useful at Costa or something and strike up a conversation. Or what have you, but you might be
Well,
able to
exactly.
arrange meetings off the back of meetings people have with other people. It'll just help push that profile a little bit forward. Okay, Challenge Cup fourth round draw. Um, just to to jump into those,
Yeah.
and might want to get your immediate reaction on the first tie that we're going to talk about, which is an all League One tie, Hunslet versus the Bradford Bulls.
Yeah, good draw. Haven't been to Hunslet for a while, so I'll be heading down to that one if I can.
They still hate rhinos. Barrow Raiders
Well,
versus the
I'll tell you what, there'll be just one chant going around the ground, going,
We
the,
hate
we ain't
rhinos.
rhinos.
All championship affair, of course. The championship sides join in the cup in the fourth round, and it's Barrow Raiders versus the Sheffield Eagles. Workington Town, they host the London Broncos, so a long journey up north for the London side. Halifax play Oldham. Then we have the first of the 3 amateur sides, and it's Kells up in Cumbria, and they get to host the Toronto Wolfpack. Now that jumps out as almost like the conversation starting tie of the round, doesn't it? But I, I'm led to understand that this would be the one you'd expect to be the TV game, but they might have issues in the Kells area getting the right level of reception to do the live broadcast. So watch
The
this space on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to say because internet speeds might not be the best. I mean, there's communities up there that are having to be rescued with supplies via
Yeah,
helicopter at
military
the moment,
helicopter
aren't there? So
supply drop
so
off
yeah,
today. Yeah.
it might be an issue up there. But there you go.
But yeah, by the side of the mine at that Kells ground is a really iconic imagery, isn't it? So that'll be one for the full-time professionals of the Wolfpack to enjoy. We've got the North Wales Crusaders versus Featherstone Rovers. Coventry Bears, they're playing the Pilkington Rex, so they've potentially got a favourable tie there. Tim G's ground announcing might get another bit of coverage there, and also it might give them a chance of getting a Super League side next time around if they can turn over a second amateur side in a row. Whitehaven, they're playing Dewsbury. Normanton Knights, the final of our amateur sides, they're hosting the Rochdale Hornets, so that'll be another really interesting one there. Rochdale obviously struggling a little bit in terms of not having been able to get any games on because of weather and pitch issues and that, and financially having a few difficulties. So that's an interesting one to follow there. Batley Bulldogs versus Lee Centurions, that'll have a lot of attention on that. Doncaster versus the Newcastle Thunder, and then finally the York City Knights, who are on the up, versus the Swinton Lions, who are having a tough time of it and may not have some of the dual reg players you'd think possibly on that to
Probably
avoid
not.
cup tie-in. So all interesting. Those ties will be played over the weekend of the 17th and 18th of March. BBC Sport will stream one of the matches from the fourth round live on the website, app and connected TVs. So worth looking out for which game. That's going to be a few tasty ones for sure. Anything else? Any other cup ties stand out, or shall we move on to an and finally?
We'll move on, but it's a tricky one. There isn't an obvious game to pick, is there? You wonder whether they're gonna pick a game that's kind of, as you say, neither an old championship affair or
they might
or
go with the
something
Batley against Lee game if the Lee story is still the same.
it's still
2 weeks
bubbling
time.
along.
Yeah, but if they win the next two games, I know there'll only be one game, so they'll probably be announcing it. Actually, they'll be announcing it this week, I would expect. So. I think that one might
tomorrow,
move on then because of that, yeah. It'll be tomorrow, yeah, Tuesdays, always. So, and finally, Hull FC star and Tongan captain Sika Manu says he was happy to help his home country Tonga after devastating cyclone hit the Pacific Island a couple of weeks ago now. The back rower didn't travel back from New South Wales with his fellow Hull teammates and instead made the short journey to Tonga. This story I've taken off the Love Rugby League website, and I thought it was an interesting one. It said the country had been hit by so the cyclone, it wiped out thousands of homes and community buildings. So Manu said, it was really great to get into the community and help out in my home country, and I can only thank those at Hull FC for giving me the chance to go back. A lot of houses were destroyed because of the power of the cyclone had taken off the roofs off the buildings. So that gives you an idea of the damage caused. So there's a number of fundraising pages that have been set up for people who wish to support aid relief for the efforts in Tonga. There's a Red Cross page, which is at I can't read out that link, it's too complicated, but givealittle.co.nz and then find it there. Or there's an Oxfam page, although maybe we don't want to be giving Oxfam money at the moment, but oxfam.org.nz, and I'm sure you'll be able to find other appeals out there and other crowdfunding stuff and stuff like that. And the Hull club actually will also be auctioning off Manu's one-off match-worn shirt from the international doubleheader fixture against the St George Illawarra Dragons, signed by Sika Manu, on their eBay page with all proceeds going to the fund. So check that out. Check out the Love Rugby League website to find that story, to see what those links are if you want to make a donation to help those people who've been hit by the cyclone there in Tonga. And really, really interesting and heartwarming story, and it just shows what heart there is in rugby league and how much people do like to give back to the community.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly kudos to Hull for supporting their kind of player to be able to go do that in the middle of a season. You know,
yeah, because ultimately he missed a game that they lost.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that we are a community game, and that community stretches around the world, and it's you absolutely can't forget your heritage and where you come from. So that kind of stuff is, as you say, it was the right thing to do, and well done to Hull FC for that.
Yeah, brilliant move. Okay, we're going to move on now to the shortened version of the Super League match reviews. I've not got the hang of these segues yet. They just sound like I'm starting to ask a question. Okay, so it's the Super League match review, sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards, and more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. the link, I'll put up the link in a post on our blog, superleaguepod.com, but it's eBay, stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop. Any orders you make over £5, you can earn 5% cash back, and also that'll throw in a kicker of 1% of the order value will go back to the SLP coffers. To do that, you need to put SLP discount at checkout. And Rob, the toy shop master, has told me that if you want to give your full 5% back to SLP, he's happy to arrange that too. You just need to contact him with a message when you make your order. Have you checked out some of the offerings on Rob's toy shop? It's a wide range of stuff on there.
I haven't yet, but I will be. I'm suitably chastened, and I will follow up with all sponsors shortly after this podcast.
You're bound to find something. With Mother's Day coming up, he might even have a few gifts in there that might be suitable for Mother's Day, despite it being labelled as Rob's Toy Shop. He goes deep, shall we say. We'll start with the first game. I've not got the average attendance of this week's rounds because it was kind of abbreviated, but we had 3 crowds over 10,000, so that was a positive in the winter weather. And the first one of those was Friday night's reorganised television game where Hull FC hosted the Warrington Wolves. It finished 21-12 to the Black and Whites. Ben Failer was the man on the whistle, and he had a busy night. What did the fans have to say about this one?
Plenty of feedback on this one, as you'd expect. So, first one from Wire Joe. You've got to wonder why we were so keen to make sure this fixture went ahead. FC had been without a few of their key players. Perhaps they thought it was a decent opportunity for us to nick the 2 points. But when you combine ill discipline and horrendous attacking play for the majority of the game, you've no chance of coming away with anything. Price and Hendo have much work to do.
Yeah. Next one up is Mike Dodd 22, who I think is another Warrington fan, but he simply says, Jake Connor and Liam Watts are both still twats, aren't they? Just to segue into the Jake Connor chat before we give Phil's review, did you see the tweet from... Oh, the player's name escapes my mind now. He plays for Fev. Jason Walton. Did you see Jason Walton's tweet? That I think it said something along the lines, and it's still up there on his Twitter, I think. But it says It says something like the biggest knob in Super League or the biggest knob in Rugby League. # Jake Connor.
Well, he's only saying what most people think, isn't he? I mean, yeah. We'll talk about that, shall we? In a bit.
I've got a bit of a hot take on the whole thing. So what did Phil Nadin have to say?
Phil said, a good start by FC, some good defence by both sides for a good 20-25 minutes. Hull pulled out a good lead, but after Patton got sent off, Warrington put the pressure on with a couple of quick tries causing Hull to stumble and panic, but held up in the end. And less said about the knob Watts, the better. That's the title for you. A big club fine and a boot up the arse from Radders should sort it. It was really interesting to hear Bradford kind of come out afterwards and be completely unapologetic.
He was more unapologetic than Watts himself was, wasn't he? It's not in my nature, and then, if the referee had called a penalty, it wouldn't have happened, would it? So it's certainly not my fault. No responsibility here. DG Knight said... hello from another of our friends over in America. Now, David's already put a tweet over trying to get the SLP family to have a bit of a meet-up in America. So at DG Knight on Twitter, if you are going to be at the Colorado game, and hit David up there and see if we can get an SLP meet-up in America, because that would be quality. We've had them in Australia now. We've had them in this country. It'd be great to get them happening around the world, wouldn't it?
If we can get a works trip going, that sounds good to me.
The donations are coming in, but they're not to that level yet. Anyway, DG Knight said, feel sorry for Warrington having to take the Trans-Pennine Express to get there. Not ideal. Think Hull deserved the win, but they looked like they might capitulate when Wire got angry after Patton was, justifiably, sent off. Clumsy tackle. Dom Crosby's WTF face summed up Liam Watts' headbutt perfectly. Also, Sky's new man of the match system came up with another head scratcher. Even Clark looked confused.
Bizarre man of the match. I said that afterwards that there was half a dozen, kind of Hull players who
I'm all
could
for
have
fan engagement, but our Mark Sneed wasn't even on the short list.
Well, we've had enough of democracy, I think. So, Rich Slang, no politics.